Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 6:56. California Attorney General Rob Bonta's re-election campaign has reportedly spent almost $500,000 in campaign funds on legal services and fees related to a federal bribery investigation. Now, campaign organizers confirmed money was used to hire lawyers, but said Bonta is not the target of the investigation. That same investigation has already resulted in the indictment of former Oakland Mayor Shang Tao and the Duong family, who were both donors to Rob Bonta.
In this case, the only connection that I can see right now between the AG's election and the legal investigation and proceedings would be whether or not the investigation initially began with questions about the Duong's donations to the AG account.
Now, the payment is reportedly the largest amount of money spent on legal help by any candidate running for statewide office in California. Time is 6:57. President Trump is working with the international community to move forward with the second phase of his 20-point peace plan between Israel and Hamas. Now, the strategy includes creating a temporary international stabilization force for Gaza. However, unrest is growing across the Middle East. It's fueled by fresh violence in the West Bank and a deadly Israeli strike on Lebanon. Rising tensions saw 2 Palestinian attackers stab an Israeli civilian to death and wound 3 others near Jerusalem before they were killed by troops.
We experienced another Palestinian terrorist attack, and we are determined to complete the war on all fronts.
We demand that the state launches a hard attack on everything related to the terrorist mechanisms here in the area, on the Palestinian Authority.
Now, the surge in the conflict comes just after the UN decision to pass a resolution allowing for the stabilization force and envisioning a path to an independent Palestinian state. Time is 6:58. President Trump hosted the Saudi crown prince at the White House in a very extravagant ceremony. It was the prince's first visit on U.S. soil since the 2018 assassination of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Now, despite U.S. officials concluding that the crown prince was responsible for his murder, President Trump dismissed that comment.
A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it.
Now, President Trump's comments come after he and the Crown Prince finalized a deal to sell F-35 fighter jets and AI chips to the Saudis. The president later designated Saudi Arabia a, quote, major non-NATO ally.
A familiar name entering the California governor's race, how former presidential candidate, businessman Tom Steyer, outlines his priorities as he joins a crowded field. A late-night decision on whether to add more controversial license plate readers to Oakland, why some business leaders warned the move could fuel more crime. Then President Trump expected to sign a bill to release the Epstein files, why legal analysts say his signature won't be a one and done, and what's expected to happen next.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Garcia Micaelia.
And good morning, I'm Dave Clark. Welcome to Wednesday. It's November 19th. Did you have the heat warmers on
I
today?
always do, you know me. But
Okay.
there's a slight change outside, though, not quite as cold as it's been.
That's going to lead us right to Steve Paulson. He has the answers for you.
I looked at the thermostat and I said, it's almost time for that furnace, Garcia.
Okay. All right, but you held off, apparently.
I will Friday morning, I think.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like a June gloom pattern here, almost sold out on the coast. Then we get some breaks, and then you go inland and out to the valley, and there's also a low cloud deck. So it's a mix of low clouds, a little cool out there, and it'll be a cool afternoon, even with sun, upper 50s and low 60s. You can see a lot of that gray there. I mean, this is kind of unusual, but we've had so much rain in November, and it's only the 19th. We'll get one more system. That'll be here tomorrow. It'll linger into late Thursday, maybe early Friday. And then it does look like a quieter pattern. But tomorrow, I would expect a 1/10 to 4/10, maybe a ½ inch of rain. I think that'll cover it. But this is another cold system for tomorrow. Today, it's a mix of some low clouds, but even cool for cats. A big morning fog bank, low clouds, cool day, upper 50s to low 60s. And these temps aren't really warming up that much until maybe a little bit on the weekend. Well, let's see how the traffic is doing up the junction. Here's the man to tell us, Mr. Sal Castaneda.
I'm tempted to say it's way better, but I don't want to jinx anything, Steve. You know how it goes.
I do.
All right, let's go out and say, look at some of these commutes. In fact, I don't want to start here. I got the wrong lineup. We're going to get back to the East Bay. I want to start in the South Bay because northbound 880, right near 101, there's a crash involving a big rig and another car. It's also beginning to affect northbound 101 in San Jose. What concerns me about this is if you're trying to get a flight at San Jose International Airport, don't be late. Northbound 880 is backing up past the airport exit and is also putting pressure on 101 as well, so don't miss that flight. Let's talk about 280 itself. That looks pretty good into the West Valley. San Mateo Bridge is moderate. So is the Bay Bridge. It's backed up to the mains. Now we can get back to that East Bay commute. Highway 4 is slow from Summersville Road to Willow Pass. 7:01. Let's get back to the headlines.
Thank you, Sal. New this morning, billionaire businessman Tom Steyer has announced he is running for California governor.
The richest people in America think that they earned everything themselves. That's so ridiculous.
In his campaign launch video, Steyer focused on the high cost of living in our state. He also touted his backing of various ballot propositions over the past 15 years in California, including one to raise taxes on corporations to increase funding for schools. Steyer also recently spent millions backing Prop 50 and ran a need to impeach ad campaign during the first Trump administration. He also ran for president in 2020. Steyer enters a crowded field. Several Republicans and Democrats have already announced they're running.
Our time is now 7:02. Well, an Oakland City Council committee rejected the idea of expanding the use of its license plate reader system in the city. There was hours of public comment on it. It ended just before midnight. KTVU's James Torres is in Oakland with more details on why that no vote happened. Good morning, James.
Good morning to you, Dave. That topic bringing in a lot of emotion from people who live in Oakland. Oakland police saying that the flock cameras has become a great tool in trying to fight and solve crimes. And they say that it does more good than harm, but not enough people in Oakland are yet convinced. As it stands, Oakland has a network of nearly 300 license plate reader cameras. The city's police department wanted to add dozens more and expand a contract that could be worth about $2 million. Police leaders presented a plan to the city's public safety committee, and those supporting the cameras say it's a great help to fight crime as the readers scan license plates and detect stolen or wanted cars involved in crimes. But those against the cameras say they invade privacy, they share gathered data with outside sources, and may even be a threat to vulnerable immigrant communities.
Cameras will not stop crime. They never have and they never will. They'll watch us, they'll track us, they'll target us.
I'm here to urge you to strongly approve and fund public safety, and that includes the safety cameras that have been solving crime, including shootings and homicides.
A former member of Oakland's Privacy Advisory Commission filed a lawsuit against OPD, accusing the department of sharing data with agencies outside of Oakland. The lawsuit claims that is a violation of law and Oakland's own rules for using flock cameras. OPD argued the cameras don't capture any people or faces, and any data collected is erased after 30 days unless it's used in an active investigation. Ultimately, the committee needed a majority approval to pass, but that fell short with only a 2-2 vote. We're live this morning in Oakland. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
James, thank you. A new lawsuit accuses the city of San Jose of violating privacy rights through its use of automated license plate readers. The lawsuit was filed by a group of civil liberties and immigrant advocacy organizations. It says the city of San Jose is violating the state constitution by sifting through the information captured without a warrant. Right now, the city has about 500 license plate cameras in San Jose. The mayor, Matt Mahan, responded to the lawsuit, saying in part, pursuant to state law, we have robust data privacy and security measures throughout our ALPR system, including regular deletion of collected data that are not being actively used in an investigation. He adds, we can't let fear of new tools get in the way of the safety of our families, especially given that the system is a big part of the reason we've solved 100% of homicides homicides over the past 3 years.
Time is now 7:05. 2 people in San Francisco were rushed to hospitals after a truck crashed into a building in the Marina District. And KTVU brought this to you yesterday morning as breaking news. Authorities say a gray truck cut through a gas station going almost 70 miles an hour before clipping 2 parked cars and became lodged in the wall of the La Luna Inn. The driver and person inside the motel room were taken to a hospital for treatment. Both are expected to be okay.
It was like screw, and then boom, 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 boom. I literally just thought scaffolding fell and our building shook. So pop out my head and I just see this man like crawling out of the car.
We don't always get high speeds, but the difference about San Francisco is that we don't have a lot of, distance between the curb of the roadway and the corner of the building.
Now, at this point, we still don't know why that driver was driving so fast, though first responders say they're investigating if there was a medical emergency.
One of the former prison correctional officers at FCI Dublin, who's charged with a sex crime, will ask a federal judge to spare him from prison. Lawrence Gacod pleaded guilty to 1 count of abusive sexual contact and admitted to kissing and writing letters to an incarcerated woman in 2022. Prosecutors say that while he should be held accountable, Gacod's actions were not as egregious as most of the other correctional officers charged at FCI Dublin. Community members gathered outside the Dublin Civic Center last night, urging the council to reject a potential immigration detention center at the former FCI Dublin facility, which is now closed. The agency recently reopened and began sending detainees to another facility in Bakersfield back in August. Advocates in Dublin say they want to be proactive and say a detention facility is not welcome in Dublin.
So we haven't seen these massive rates. We've been seeing people taken when they go to their ICE check-ins at immigration court, but we haven't had the massive raids because they don't have a facility close by to be able to put a lot of people. And we know if they open one, that they will fill it.
Congressman Mark DeSaulnier told KTVU back in June there are no plans to turn the prison into an immigrant detention center. Still, protesters want the city to pass a resolution against using it as an immigration detention facility.
Time now 7:08. The bill to ask the Justice Department to release the files it has on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is on its way to President Trump's desk, and the president is expected to sign it. Now, the House almost voted unanimously for that bill. The lone no vote was Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana. He said he opposed the bill because it would release information about innocent people mentioned in the investigation. Political analysts say the bipartisan vote in Congress for releasing the files was a rare show of unity on Capitol Hill. Among the people leading the effort, South Bay Congressman Ro Khanna.
It sends a message that Americans are finally sick and tired of a Epstein class of rich and powerful men who thought they could get away with anything.
There's 65,000 pages that have been released. How many pages do you think are left? I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot.
Now, even if President Trump signs the bill, legal analysts say the bill limits the details from the investigation that can and cannot be released. It allows the Attorney General to redact information that could jeopardize a federal investigation. However, the Justice Department cannot block records based on political reasoning.
Time is 7:09. I want to start with this tractor trailer that got into a crash on San Jose freeways, northbound 880 right at 101. And it is blocking lanes. Not only that, but it's also affecting Highway 101 because the merge there on 101, you can clearly see what's going on. There's also some slowing there. And so this whole interchange, 880 101 is going to be very slow. It's putting pressure on other South Bay freeways like 280. People are ditching one commute, trying to get into the West Valley. So most of the commute obviously is trying to get over to Cupertino and Sunnyvale and Palo Alto, heading that way, and people are finding other ways. Let's talk about that San Mateo Bridge. The Dumbarton Bridge, by the way, someone always asked me to check that. Not so slow yet. Sometimes it gets slow later. Right now, this is crowded. I wouldn't say it's terrible. And the Bay Bridge is backed up beyond the maze. We've had a couple of tough days at the Bay Bridge, but at the very least today, right now, CHP is not reporting anything on that span. It's 7:10. Let's go back to the desk.
All right, Sal, thank you. Well, today, a decision could be made that could affect future students at the University of California. The reason university regents say a tuition increase is needed.
We've been through housing bubbles, a tech bubble, and now similar concerns about artificial intelligence. What Santa Clara-based NVIDIA is releasing today and how some say it may have a wider effect on the AI industry.
Jacoby & Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby & Myers, we know the stakes, your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Some of the top stories we're following here at 7:14. In Japan, at least one person has died in a fire that burned or destroyed 170 homes. The fire started yesterday evening during strong winds near a fishing port on one of the southern islands of Japan. Hundreds of firefighters and Army helicopters have been working to put out the flames. A House committee is meeting this morning to consider whether to strengthen limits on lawmakers' stock trading. The current rules allow trades as long as they follow insider trading laws and are disclosed within 30 days. The new proposal would ban members of Congress from holding individual stocks. Texas is promising to appeal a ruling by a federal court that blocks the state from using its newly redrawn congressional maps. The federal court, in a 2-to-1 ruling, sided with Texas opponents who argue the new districts harm the representation of Black and Latino residents. Texas's redistricting effort led to a nationwide redistricting fight, including the recent passage of Prop 50 here in California.
All right, our time is 7:14. NVIDIA, based in Santa Clara, one of the world's top chip makers, is fueling the boom in artificial intelligence, and today it's expected to release its earnings.
Investors worry, though, that we're in something of an AI bubble, and we'll be looking at NVIDIA's earnings report for any sign that bubble is about to burst. Our Ali Rasmus here in studio to explain, Ali.
Well, first we can start off by taking a look at the big board. Right now, the Dow is up about 171 points. Not too bad, certainly different than than the point drop that it had yesterday. NVIDIA is expected to report some strong revenue and earnings for its third fiscal quarter, which ended last month. But investors will also focus on what the company expects when it comes to future AI growth and chip growth. There's been a lot of discussion in Silicon Valley about whether we are in an AI bubble, and if NVIDIA's earnings don't meet expectations, investors could view that as confirmation that the trillions of dollars other companies have already spent investing in AI may not pay off. Now, NVIDIA makes high-powered graphic processing chips, the type needed to power anything with artificial intelligence capabilities. In October, it became the first company to be valued at $5 trillion. Financial analysts say market jitters about AI and NVIDIA parallel some fears about the overall health of the economy. Because of the government shutdown, it's been more than a month since we've had any official economic data on jobs and inflation. We're not expecting that data to come out until after the Thanksgiving holiday.
Better for worse, over the next 3 weeks is going to clarify exactly how they come down, and then the stock market will kind of know what to do with itself.
NVIDIA is expected to release its earnings after the markets close at 1 o'clock our time. Back to you.
All right, Ali, thank you. Time's now 7:16. Well, the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw, that's just over 2 weeks from now. The Bay Area will find out which countries will play at Levi Stadium next June. The Oakland Roots and the Seoul Soccer Club, they want to host one of those teams at their facility in Alameda. Now, that training site used to belong to the Oakland Raiders before they moved to Las Vegas. The Roots and the Seoul took over the complex. Now they hope it'll be picked as a base camp for one of the competing countries in the World Cup. That facility made the first cut. It was selected last month as one of about 65 approved locations to serve as a team base camp for one of the 48 national teams.
FIFA estimates that when a national team picks a community as its home base, the surrounding community can expect 30,000 hotel nights tied to that home base.
Now, San Jose State University is the only other approved site here in the Bay Area. If the Alameda complex is selected, a World Cup country would then occupy it and use the fields, the locker rooms, the offices, as well as the indoor training facilities.
7:18, we're going to swing out to the traffic center. Before, Sal, you're actually hitting the road yourself later today, right? This morning.
That's right. I'm going to be somewhere for the 9 o'clock show at Cirque du Soleil, a little demonstration. So I'm going to get out on this very road, the Bay Bridge. So I'm going to be, I don't know, if you're getting on the road, you might see me, although our vehicles are low pro these days. We don't drive around those white trucks anymore, but I digress. It's backed up all the way out to the MacArthur May. So I'll be getting into San Francisco. My trusted colleague, Allie, will take over at 7:30. Right now, we are looking at a commute in the East Bay that is going to be on Highway 4, some slow traffic there. And then 80 is going to be a little bit slow. When we come back next time, we'll talk about that South Bay commute. Now it's 7:18. Here's Steve with today's weather.
All right, Sal, thank you, sir. We'll get right to it here. Pretty good fog bank out there, especially the coast. Then we get a break, and then there's more fog. You go well inland. So low clouds, sun, not very warm today. Upper 50s, low 60s are next. And last system in the current pattern will arrive tomorrow. The upper low, though, doesn't really show up until Thursday evening. So a cold low will drop in. This will be tomorrow. Light to moderate rain. 1/10 of an inch to maybe 6/10, I think, should cover it. It's pretty much a quick mover, as we say. It'll be in Southern California by Friday morning. 40s, 50s on the temps. 43 Concord. Livermore now down to 42. So if you get the clearing, a lot of 40s. Peninsula 40s for some, 50s for others. But Palo Alto, Los Altos, both at 45, and that's cooler than Menlo Park, Stanford. You don't see that all the time. But 28 Truckee, 24 now, South Lake Tahoe to Minden's 25, and Reno's 28. They'll get a little snow, but it looks to be similar on the levels here around Blue Canyon on 80 and Twin Bridges up to lake level on 50. Today, mix of low clouds and sun, but increasing clouds will be on the way by this evening. Tomorrow morning, we'll get the cold front, and then tomorrow afternoon, evening, we'll get the low coming in right over your house and mine. And then by Friday morning, it'll be a windy day, windy and cold. But after that, it looks pretty good. Nothing showing up really until around the 28th or 29th. So a break for the weekend and most of next week is the way it looks. Even cool for cats today. Big morning fog bank, mix of sun, low clouds. A cool day, though. Upper 50s, low 60s at best.
Steve, thank you. 7:20 here. The Oakland Unified School District is warning it needs to take action to avoid a state takeover. what's happening today toward the goal of making major cuts.
And some encouraging data about California state beaches. We have details of a new study that says when it comes to erosion, certain parts of the coast are doing better than others.
And KTVU's annual One Warm Coat Drive is well underway. You can help make sure people in need in the Bay Area stay warm this winter. If you're able to donate a new or gently worn coat, please scan the QR code that's on your screen. You can also head to KTVU.com. We have a long list of participating drop-off locations. Our One Warm Coat Drive runs until December 14th. What a pretty picture. Take a look at your screen. I know you're busy doing morning things, but a soft golden glow rising above the Santa Cruz Lighthouse. It's such a calm, quiet morning there. Remember, we had rain earlier in the week, cold temperatures. It's all sort of evening out, if you will. A nice live look outside just to the south of the Bay Area. We are keeping your weather here in the Bay dialed in, and it's a good thing we'll swing back to our meteorologist, Steve Paulson, in just a minute. Meanwhile, new this morning, a new study pushes back on the long-held belief that California's coastline is rapidly eroding. The Scripps Institution of Oceanography has been tracking beach width with satellite technology. Researchers found the average beach width remains surprisingly stable across the state. While erosion continues to plague some parts of Southern California, other beaches such as Venice Beach and Ocean Beach here in San Francisco are actually gaining sand. The study notes that this resilience does not account for the threat of climate change and sea level rise.
Our time now 7:24. New this morning, an appeals court temporarily blocked California's climate-related Financial Risk Act. Now, the law, due to take effect January 1st, requires corporations that have more than $500 million in global revenue to publicly disclose their climate-related financial risk. But the Ninth Circuit granted an injunction to several business groups that want to keep it from going into effect. The court did not give a reason for that decision. And California is doing better in reducing natural gas emissions. State regulators say the state cut emissions by 41% last year. That's ahead of the goal of 2030. Those numbers are self-reported by gas companies. But regulators say calculations still show promising progress. There was a drop in emissions in measurements from both gas mains and individual customer meters.
725-year former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers resigns from the board of OpenAI following immense public pressure. How his decision is tied to the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Good morning. After fighting it for years, President Trump's expected to sign a bill to release the Epstein files. We'll tell you how soon the documents could be released to the public. Plus, tuitions at UC schools may be going up again. The vote scheduled later this morning that could mean higher fees for the families of students who are not even in college yet.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back to Mornings on 2. I'm Dave Clark.
Good morning. I'm Gassia Mikaelian. It is Wednesday, November 19th. That pretty picture of Santa Cruz. Steve Paulson, I know a lot of people like to head to the beach in the summer, but today's weather isn't bad if you bring a jacket, right?
Not at all. We get a break. Tomorrow we'll get back into the rain. It's one of those patterns where it almost looks like it's a summer pattern here on the coast. There's a lot of low clouds. Temperatures, though, and my mic fell off.
Yeah.
That's all right. You know what I'm going to say. 40s on the temps. It'll be a nice day today. Mostly cloudy, then partly sunny, but a cool afternoon. 50s to low 60s. Never happens to this man.
mic issues.
I never have microphone. Okay, well, I do. Forget it. I have some good news. That crash northbound 880 at 101 in San Jose, I have it on the map here, has been cleared from the freeway. And even though there's a lot of slow traffic, this will definitely help. I don't want you to miss your flight at SJC, though, so get on the road as early as you can if you're going to the airport, because the roads are crowded. People have been figuring out different ways to get there, and there's 280. It's just been crowded out there. San Mateo Bridge, moderately heavy. Almost every day I see someone pulled over there. I'm wondering what that's all about. Could be a car flow violation or something, but anyway, traffic is okay. The Bay Bridge backed up to the Maze. It's 7:30. Let's get back to the headlines.
Thank you, Sal. Happening today, UC Regents will vote on raising tuition for thousands of future UC students. Our Amanda Quintana live at UC Berkeley here to bring us details. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning. Yes, this meeting happens today where the UC Regents are set to vote on increasing tuition for the class of 2027-28, and that would be the classes at all 9 UC schools. Now, UC leaders say that this increase is needed to offset recent cuts by the Trump administration, a reduction in state funding, growing enrollment, and growing inflation. Students are against this. They say the proposed tuition hike would have a devastating impact on students from low-income families. They plan to protest outside of the Regent meeting at UCLA today. Now, when a student starts at UC, their tuition is locked in for 6 years. Each year, tuition is allowed to go up by 5% based on inflation, but in the plan being voted on today, if inflation goes up more than that, any amount over 5% can then be banked for future years. Today's vote would also change the amount of money that's put towards financial aid. This increase being voted on would only affect the incoming class of 2027-28. Students who already attend a UC school will not see increases to their current fees. For the class of 2025-26, their base tuition rate is set at nearly $15,000, $50,000 if they're not California residents. We will continue to break down some of the numbers behind this plan, and we'll bring you some of the latest information from UCLA as that meeting happens later today. Live in Berkeley, Amanda Quintana, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Time now 7:32. Happening today, leaders of the Oakland Unified School District are meeting about the $100 million they need to cut from next year's budget. Today, the school board will consider at least 2 budget options. Then they plan to vote December 10th on a plan. Teachers say they're already on shoestring budgets before the cuts are made. The superintendent says the Oakland Unified School District is committed to making students a priority, but there is no way to save their financial autonomy from state intervention.
New this morning, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers has resigned from the board of OpenAI following immense public pressure. The decision comes after a congressional committee released documents detailing his years-long correspondence with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Summers issued a statement saying he was deeply ashamed of the emails and his conduct and announced he'd be stepping back from all major public commitments, including his role at OpenAI.
Well, this morning, we're waiting on the signature of President Trump on a bill to force the Justice Department to release the files it has on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The House and the Senate passed the bill almost unanimously. KTVU's Andre Sr. is in the studio now with more details on this bill that could be signed into law as soon as today. Andre?
Well, Dave, Congress moved with remarkable speed. There was almost no opposition to this bill despite some deep divisions along the way here. The lone no vote was Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana, who said he opposes the bill because it would release information about innocent people mentioned in the investigation. Political analysts say the bipartisan support in Congress for releasing the files was a rare display of unity on Capitol Hill. Among those leading the effort is South Bay Congressman Ro Khanna.
It sends a message that Americans are finally sick and tired of a Epstein class of rich and powerful men who thought they could get away with anything.
There's 65,000 pages that have been released. How many pages you think are left? I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot.
President Trump is expected to sign the bill. The president recently reversed his stance and indicated over the weekend he supported the bill, which would direct the Justice Department to release files related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation.
The problem here for the president was that I think he felt like any mention of his name in the Epstein files was just going to continue to bog down his presidency. And of course, that was the strategy. That is the strategy of Democrats, is to find out what's in there, and if there's a smoking gun, to expose it.
The concern for the White House, though, is that no matter what happens from here, no matter what is released, there is not going to be enough to satisfy the people that want that smoking gun, and they are concerned that this is not going to go away, even with the bill signing, even with more getting released.
Even if the president signs the bill, legal analysts say there are limits on what can and cannot be released. It allows the attorney general to redact any information that could jeopardize a federal investigation. The Department of Justice cannot, however, block records based on any political reasoning. Once the bill is signed, the Justice Department has 90 days to make any redactions and release those documents to the public. Garcia?
Andre, thank you. The House committee is meeting this morning to discuss rules that would limit stock trading for members of Congress. The current rules allow trades as long as they follow insider trading laws and are disclosed within 30 days. A bipartisan group of lawmakers now has a proposal that would ban members of Congress and their close family members from holding individual stocks while serving in Congress.
Public service is supposed to be a sacrifice. You're supposed to give things up as part of that public service. I am certain that we are going to get a bill to the floor that's going to reflect everybody's work and that will take this first step to restore trust in Congress.
Critics point out lawmakers are privy to inside information that can impact stocks and say members of Congress should only be able to invest in broader index funds instead of individual stocks.
Our time's now 7:36. San Francisco police released body cam video of a recent police shooting where a man and his dog were hurt. Now, the confrontation happened November 9th on Market Street near Union Square. A passerby says he was bitten by a dog and then called the police. When the police arrived, they caught up with that man and another man, Trustin Eden, and his dog. The police say Eden would not obey verbal commands, and that set off a series of events that led to the shootings.
Get over here. You're under arrest. You're under arrest.
Now, the body cam video shows police officers trying to arrest Eden. That appeared to cause the dog, a Shepherd Husky mix, to charge at a second police officer who then shot the dog in the leg. The video shows Eden throwing a bottle and running toward the officer, who then fired again, hitting Eden. It was later determined the bottle was plastic. Both Eden and his dog were injured. They're expected to recover. Police say the dog bit one of the officers after it was shot. The officer was not seriously hurt.
San Francisco's school board is promoting Maria Sue from interim superintendent to the new permanent superintendent of schools. Sue was officially sworn in at yesterday's school board meeting. She was the interim director of schools for the past year, appointed by then Mayor London Breed. Sue is taking the helm at a time of declining enrollment and financial hardship for San Francisco Unified.
We work with our community, making sure that we work with our educators and our administrators to move the needle for our students. On academic fundamentals.
Sue says her aim is to get the district out of state oversight. She acknowledged this means that more difficult cuts could be ahead.
All right, let's talk about weather at 7:38. Hey, Steve, can Garcia get in her walk without an umbrella?
Boy, better.
Today she can.
Okay.
Not tomorrow.
Oh, good. A good excuse.
I hear that. All right, mostly cloudy out there. A pretty good fog bank. It looks like June or July, not mid-November, that's for sure. Mix of sun and low clouds, a cool afternoon. Even with the sun, temperatures will struggle to get over the upper 50s or low 60s. Not only today, but also tomorrow. We'll swing in a system tomorrow. The last in the pattern here, it looks like, until maybe the 28th or 29th is kind of the way it's leaning. Next rain will be tomorrow, and the upper low won't get here until Thursday night. Now, the front will be here tomorrow morning, but cold low drops in, so light to moderate rain. 1/10 to 2/3 of an inch should probably cover it. 40s on the Livermore is down to 42. 40s for Brentwood, Fairfield, Martinez, Walnut Creek, Concord. Sunnyvale's in there, San Jose, Sonoma's 44. If you have the low clouds, you're probably upper 40s or 50s. Lots of 40s. Santa Cruz Mountains, Santa Clara Valley, even Santa Clara and Cupertino are 44 degrees and 46, 47 for others. Santa Cruz and Aptos, though, at 49. 20s and 30s up in the mountains, upper 20s for Truckee, South Lake Tahoe. They need that to make snow. They need some colder temps. They have not had that, so that'll help a little bit. And Mother Nature will provide a little tomorrow with another 1 to maybe 4 inches of snow around lake level as well. Our next system is in the picture, but it's going to take a while to get here. So it'll get here with rain tomorrow morning, and then the upper low comes right over your place and mine tomorrow evening. And then by Friday morning, it's in Southern California. After that, we'll get a break for the weekend, and probably all the way out to at least around the 28th or 29th is kind of the way it's looking here. But when it's a rain year, usually the ridges don't last as long. When it's a dry year, they go forever. Even cool for cats today. Mix of sun and low clouds. A cool day, though. Upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Rain returns tomorrow. It gets out of here pretty fast. The weekend looks good. It might be nicest on the coast, though, you guys.
Nice. Steve, thank you. As our Amanda Quintana just reported here, UC Regents are voting today on the possibility of raising tuition for future in-state students.
And now we want to hear from you about this. So this morning, here's what we're asking. Is college worth it? Here are your options. Yes, it's an investment. Or no, it's too expensive. If you want to weigh in, just go to ktvu.com/vote.
All right, we'll keep checking your answers as you weigh in. A lot of us thinking about what we did after high school, what our children should do after high school. It's a whole change, let me tell you. A quick look at those numbers. We're waiting for you to weigh in. Scan the QR code at the top right, or just head on out to ktvu.com/vote. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2. Time now 7:43. Here's some of the top stories we're following this morning. A push in Oakland to expand the use of the Oakland Police Department surveillance camera system failed late last night. The City Council's Public Safety Committee voted to reject a police request to add dozens of additional cameras in Oakland. Police say these cameras that record license plates help to solve crimes. Right now, there are about 300 of them in Oakland. In San Francisco, a real estate firm wants to temporarily close the Safeway store between Fulton and Cabrillo near Ocean Beach in order to redevelop that area. The project will bring 526 new rental homes on the same site of that grocery store. The supermarket would temporarily close, but then reopen later and become an anchor at that location. That Safeway, however, is the only full-service grocery store in the neighborhood. And all eyes on Santa Clara-based NVIDIA this morning, one of the top chip makers in the world, fueling the artificial intelligence boom. It's expected to release its earnings today. Investors are worried we're in an AI bubble, and they'll be looking at NVIDIA's earnings report for any signs the bubble is about to burst. The stock market trading up a few points this morning. NVIDIA is due to release its earnings report at 1 o'clock our time after the market closes. And Wall Street, as we just said, also keeping an eye on the big retailers as well as NVIDIA.
Pam Cook is busy this morning. She's back in studio with a look at dollars and cents.
About ready to enter the busiest time of year for the retailers, most important time for their outlook. Target lowered its profit outlook, reports fewer shoppers looking forward. We have seen some people pulling back on spending, as well as some boycotts involving Target. TJ Maxx and Marshalls say they are seeing a strong start to the holidays so far. Now, as the opening bell rang this morning, we got a very nice opening across the board. All three market indexes trading higher this morning. The NASDAQ has really been dealing with the worst month since, I believe, March this year. Some big losses for those tech stocks. So we'll be watching that closely. This morning, the NASDAQ is up about 1.25%, almost 300 points. But of course, after the closing bell, we're going to get those numbers from NVIDIA. And the investors will be keeping an eye on what NVIDIA says about the outlook for the next quarter and the year ahead as well, as sort of a guide mark for the tech stocks. There's a live look at the Dow. It is up slightly. The big gains are in the S&P 500, up 0.75%, and then again the NASDAQ up 1.25%. Jeep is debuting its first global electric SUV. The all-new 2026 Recon has an estimated range of up to 250 miles. It has more horsepower than Tesla's Model 3 and Y. The new EV Jeep will start at $65,000. Tesla just received its last permit needed to launch robo-taxis in Arizona. Arizona is among several states. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is targeting to launch the self-driving taxi service. In June, Tesla launched a limited robo-taxi service in Austin, Texas, but at this time, a human safety operator is still needed to sit on the passenger seat. Tesla also launched a ride-hailing service in California, but it lacks the proper permits to operate a commercial robo-taxi service here. Well, you've seen it on billboards along Bay Area freeways, and you have most likely heard her name on TV and radio ads. Now you can wear her slogan. Something wrong? Call Ann Fong. The Sacramento-based law firm has a new streetwear line. It includes a bright pink sweatshirt with graffiti lettering and a white T-shirt featuring a Chinese takeout box on the front, an Ann Fong slogan and phone number on the back. According to the Chronicle, the art was created by KQED designer Molly Wu. The hoodies cost $50. The T-shirts are going for $25, but the law firm says the money raised will help go to charities. I'm Pam Cook. That's Look at Your Dollars and Cents.
Pam, thank you.
Okay.
An interactive museum dedicated to the Shroud of Turin, where some believe the burial cloth of Jesus Christ once laid, opens its doors in Southern California today. The $5 million exhibit features a 360-degree projection room, replicas, and a life-size sculpture of Jesus. The 10,000-square-foot museum also showcases a massive laminated visual of the shroud, which displays the faint image of a man with crucifixion-like wounds.
Athonia is the word from the Gospel of John that it describes what was found in the empty tomb. So when Peter and John came to the tomb on that first Easter morning, they went in and they saw the linen cloths lying. And so the word that John used in his gospel is Athonia. And so that's the name of our organization.
The museum was built over 3 years, funded entirely through private donations.
Interesting. All right, time is 7:49, and Sal is back, still watching your Wednesday morning commute. Oh, Miss
Sal
Allie Rasmussen, you don't look
Sal
anything
has left
like
the
Sal.
building.
No, that's he had to
Yeah,
run.
let me explain what I'm doing here. So Sal is headed to a special assignment, and he's going to be talking about Cirque du Soleil in the 9. So I'm kind of taking over, just jumped into this seat here, and taking over a little bit for traffic to show you what the commute continues to look like. Because as we know, 10 minutes to 8, the commute is still in full force out there for this Wednesday morning. There isn't a crash icon yet, but just in the CHP log, there is a report of a injury crash northbound 680 at Diablo Road, and this is blocking a couple of lanes. So this is probably why you see some of that orange here on the screen. So keep an eye on that. 280 in San Jose, you can see some slow traffic in that northbound direction. And I think the last time around, Sal did show a number of crashes in the South Bay. Also a crash as you get off the San Mateo Bridge, which is backing things up. And that's also why you see it here. Move over. There's a crash there on the San Mateo Bridge. Expect slow travel times getting over to the Peninsula Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. Busy as well. You're looking at a 15 to 20 minute delay to get onto the span. 7:50 is the time, and there's a lot of sunshine in those traffic cameras, what we like to see.
If I can be blunt, Sal, you've never looked better in your life.
It's the lighting.
It's the
fixed up
lighting. If all the
lighting
world's
here.
a stage, I want better lighting. Thank you, Allie. Appreciate that. Usually, when we get this kind of fog, you reduce visibility. It's a low cloud deck, so we're okay here. But see, 8 miles, 10 miles, unless you're out there at the Barkley Ranch. Look at that, out there in Stockton. They're a mile, but everywhere else, low clouds are up around 3,000 feet, so you don't have to worry about that Thule fog unless you're out to the valley. It does look like a summer pattern here with fog on the coast and then breaks inland. You saw some sun already on those traffic shots. 40s on the temps here, a little chill. Livermore down to 42. We haven't had many 30s. We haven't had much cold air, but I think by the time we get to Friday and Saturday, we'll get some. 47 is popular. San Jose's in there. SoCal's in there. Morgan Hill, San Martin, and Gilroy. A lot of 40s, only a couple of 50s here. 20s up in the mountains. Mammoth at 25. Reno, Truckee both at 28. They need some colder temps so the resorts can make some snow. This will certainly help, and Mother Nature will do its best tomorrow to give us about another 1 to 4 inches of snow. Our system has a ways to go. The leading edge is pretty far back there, and the low still in the Gulf of Alaska. So we'll get the cold front tomorrow morning, and then the low comes right over us Thursday evening, if not Thursday night. But by Friday, it's all the way into Southern California. So get ready for a cold, wet day tomorrow, and then kind of a windy, cool pattern on Friday. Even cool for Cats Day, though. Big morning fog bank. Even with the sun, though, temperatures will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. Get ready for one more rainer. That'll be tomorrow, and then it does look better going into the weekend, Dave.
All right, Steve, thank you. Our time now, 7:52. Drivers of American roads are killing pedestrians at record rates. Up next at 8 o'clock, the California roads that are near the top of the list of the most dangerous in the country. And a development in the death investigation of a teenage girl whose body was found in the trunk of a car, while the police reportedly are considering an up-and-coming pop singer as a suspect. Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 7:55. The LAPD now reportedly considering the singer David as a suspect in the death of a 15-year-old girl. The body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found months ago in the singer's car in a tow yard. Now, while the LAPD hasn't officially named David as a suspect, several reports say investigators are treating him as if he is. They're also reportedly treating the death of the girl as a homicide. Neighbors who live near where the body was found say they are shocked by that discovery.
My heart sunk and I was like, oh my gosh, I drove past that car every single morning, and you just feel horrible, like a sinking feeling in your stomach, because that's somebody's baby, right?
The medical examiner still hasn't released a cause of death. Apparently, they're waiting on toxicology results. David and the victim were believed to have been in a relationship. The lawyer for the singer has not made a comment on him being considered a suspect. Well, loved ones of the late football coach John Beam gathered in an Oakland courtroom to watch the first court appearance of the man accused of killing the athletic director at Laney College and former football coach. 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr. did not enter a plea. He was denied bail. He's accused of shooting and killing John Beam at Laney College last Thursday morning. Instead of wearing a regular jumpsuit, Irving wore a vest used as a precaution for inmates at risk of hurting themselves. Records show Irving's being held in the behavioral health unit of Santa Rita Jail.
They don't know what the mental health state of the defendant is. That will come out during litigation and be used either in a trial or for mitigation should he plead. This case will move at glacial speed. It's not going to go quickly.
Now, the suspect's mental health may play a role in his defense. Sources are telling KTVU the suspect believed that John Beam had used witchcraft on him. The district attorney would make no comment on the mental health of Irving. He's due back in court on December 16th. Also, retired NFL star Marshawn Lynch was in the courtroom at the hearing in support of John Beam's family. Well, Oakland students walked out of class today trying to send a message about safety on the campus. More than 100 students from several Oakland schools gathered outside of Skyline High School after a student was shot there on the campus last week. The students say they're frustrated with Skyline High School's handling of the incident and the lack of mental health resources on the campus.
Organize a walkout for the school to start preaching for extra mental health services instead of security, to ask for education on gun violence instead of just pushing it under the rug.
And 2 teenagers were arrested in connection with that shooting at Skyline High School. The police also seized 2 ghost guns in that incident. California Attorney General Rob Bonta's re-election campaign has reportedly spent almost $500,000 in campaign funds on legal services and fees related to a federal bribery investigation. Campaign organizers confirmed money was used to hire lawyers, but said Bonta is not the target of the investigation. That same investigation has already resulted in the indictment of former Oakland Mayor Shang Tao and the Duong family, who were both donors to Rob Bonta.
In this case, the only connection that I can see right now between the AG's election and the legal investigation and proceedings would be whether or not the investigation initially began with questions about the Dong's donations to the AG account.
That payment is reportedly the most amount of money spent on legal help by any candidate running for statewide office in California.
Flock technology could have been useful to help catch that person.
These cameras will not stop crime. They'll watch us, they'll track us, they'll target us.
Contentious public comments in Oakland over the use of license plate reader cameras and the decision that now fully reverses an initial recommendation by one group of city leaders. And low-income neighborhoods often lack resources. This morning, the new data that shows those limitations are causing more pedestrians to lose their lives.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Welcome to Mornings on 2 at 8, live across San Francisco and the San Francisco Bay toward the Oakland and Berkeley Hills this morning. Yeah, chilly temperatures moving in today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
Good morning. I'm Gassia Mikaelian. It's Wednesday, November 19th. Clear and bright right behind us along the Oakland Alameda estuary. Some clouds up above, but nothing like what we had on Monday. Rick, Steve.
No, not at all. In fact, there's a lot of sun already for some. There's more fog actually by the coast. Kind of a summer pattern here. Oakland resplendent in sunshine here, but it's not very warm, that's for sure. We're seeing a lot of 40s, 50s on the temps here, but we are seeing some breaks in there. It'll be a mix of sun and low clouds today. Just not very warm. I mean, the angle of the sun now is really low, so it's tough to burn this off, but we'll get just a sunny but a cool afternoon. You can see a lot of that low cloud deck favoring the coast more so than inland. Our next system is not here until Thursday. The leading edge of that system won't arrive until tonight, and then the low shows up tomorrow afternoon, evening. So we have one more system in the pipeline before we get about a 7-day break, or maybe a little longer. But I think about a tenth of an inch to upwards of a half should cover it on some of the projections here. But it's even cool for cats, no doubt. A little chill there. Big morning fog bank, mix of sun, low clouds, upper 50s to low 60s today. All right, Allie's in for Sal now, and she begins with what?
We are going to start in the North Bay because there's a new crash that we were just learning about. This is 101 at just north of North San Pedro Road. This is involving a motorcycle that rear-ended a Cybertruck, and then that motorcycle flew and then hit another vehicle. So 3 vehicles involved in this. It's an injury crash. We're waiting for more details, but in the meantime, you can see a big traffic backup behind this. Again, southbound 101, just north of North San Pedro in San Rafael. Be aware of that. Richmond San Rafael Bridge Toll Plaza, there is some slow traffic getting over into Marin County from this point. No specific problems there, but slow going over that bridge. Bay Bridge Toll Plaza is very busy, as we've seen all morning, looking at a 15 to 20-minute delay to get onto the span. 8:01. Let's go back to the desk.
Thank you, Allie. An Oakland City Council committee votes down the idea of expanding the license plate reader system.
Yeah, that vote happened just before midnight after hours of public comment. KTVU's James Torres live in Oakland with why committee members ultimately voted against it. James.
Yeah, Oakland police trying to make the case that these flock cameras, these license plate readers, are doing more good than harm, saying that they're helping and doing a good job fighting crime, but not enough people in Oakland are convinced just yet. This was the topic of conversation that fell late into last night. As it stands, Oakland has a network of about 300 license plate readers. The city's police department wanted to add dozens more and expand a contract that would be worth $2 million. Police leaders presented a plan to the city's public safety committee. Those supported the cameras say it's a great help to fight crime as the readers scan license plates and detect stolen or wanted cars. Those kinds of surveillance cameras even helped officers find the accused killer of longtime football coach John Beam. But those against the cameras say they're an invasion of privacy. They share gathered data with outside sources and may be a threat to vulnerable immigrant communities.
Cameras will not stop crime. They never have and they never will. They'll watch us, they'll track us, they'll target us.
I'm here to urge you to strongly approve and fund public safety, and that includes the safety cameras that have been solving crime, including shootings and homicides.
A former member of Oakland's Privacy Advisory Commission filed a lawsuit against OPD accusing the department of sharing data with agencies outside of Oakland. The lawsuit claims that is a violation of law and Oakland's own rules for using flock cameras. We have reached out to the city for comment on that. They have not yet responded. OPD also arguing that these cameras do not scan any faces or any people. It really just only scans the license plate readers, and they say any information gathered is usually deleted after 30 days unless that data is used in an active investigation. Ultimately, the committee needed a majority approval to move forward, but that fell short with a 2-2 vote. We're live this morning in Oakland. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Thank you, James. A new lawsuit accuses the city of San Jose of violating privacy rights through its use of automated license plate readers. The lawsuit was filed by a group of civil liberties and immigrant advocacy organizations. It says the city of San Jose is violating the state constitution by sifting through the information captured without a warrant. Right now, the city has some 500 license plate cameras. San Jose's Mayor Matt Mahan responded to the suit, saying in part, pursuant to state law, we have robust data privacy and security measures throughout our ALPR system, including regular deletion of collected data that are not being actively used in an investigation. He adds, we can't let fear of new tools get in the way of the safety of our families, especially given that the system is a big part of the reason we've solved 100% of homicides over the past 3 years.
Time now is 8:05. New data is revealing pedestrian deaths are increasing in lower-income neighborhoods across the country. The Washington Post analyzed data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It found deaths increased from 2010 to 2023, and the majority happened on larger multi-lane roads. Many tend to be in lower-income areas that often have faded street markings. Two of the deadliest surface streets in the country are in Southern California, one in L.A. and another in Anaheim.
An update now on a story we had as breaking news through the morning yesterday in San Francisco. Investigators are looking into the possibility that it was a medical emergency that led to this dramatic crash in the Marina District that left 2 people injured. Authorities say the driver of a gray truck cut through a gas station going almost 70 miles an hour, clipped 2 parked cars. The truck then became lodged in the wall of the La Luna Inn.
It was like skrrr, and then boom, 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 boom. I literally just thought scaffolding fell and our building shook. So pop out my head and I just see this man like crawling out of the car.
We don't always get high speeds, but the difference about San Francisco is that we don't have a lot of distance between the curb of the roadway and the corner of the building.
The driver and 1 person inside the motel room were taken to the hospital. Both are expected to recover.
Well, California is taking bold steps to overhaul its decades-old hiring system aimed for speeding and efficiency here. Governor Newsom's administration unveiling major reforms focused on modernizing workflows and simplifying regulations. The core of the effort involves consolidating hundreds of narrow job titles and removing outdated educational requirements for thousands of positions. State officials hope to tap into a wider, more diverse talent pool by shifting the focus from specific college degrees to demonstrated skills and relevant experience.
8:06 is the time. Checking our traffic maps at this hour. You can see we are keeping an eye on an issue that's happened in the East Bay, far East Bay. This is Danville, northbound 680 just south of Diablo Road. Off ramp there, it was a crash that happened there, blocking a couple of lanes. Now the latest update is it's been moved off to the shoulder and there is a tow truck on the way, but you can see behind it that the backup continues to linger there into San Ramon. San Mateo Bridge, you can watch right here live as the CHP stops a box truck. It's pulled over right here in the shoulder. Slow traffic getting over to the peninsula. Taking a look at the East Shore Freeway from Berkeley onto the Bay Bridge. From here, it's sluggish all the way to that Bay Bridge toll plaza, which we'll show a live picture of in just about 10 minutes. 8:07. Let's go back to the desk.
Well, armored vehicles, tactical teams, and neighborhoods on edge. The latest state to become ground zero for an immigration crackdown.
Increased tensions at the border, why President Trump is calling for U.S. intervention on Mexican soil, and how Mexico's president is pushing back.
Jacoby and Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby and Myers, we know the stakes, your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Time now is 8:11. The bill to ask the Justice Department to release the files it has on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on its way to President Trump's desk, and the president is expected to sign it. The Senate immediately passed that bill this morning that the House passed yesterday. The lone no vote was Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana, who opposes the bill because he says it would release information about innocent people mentioned in the investigation. Political analysts say the bipartisan vote was a rare display of unity on Capitol Hill. Among the people leading the effort is South Bay Congressman Ro Khanna.
It sends a message that Americans are finally sick and tired of a Epstein class of rich and powerful men who thought they could get away with anything.
There's 65,000 pages that have been released. How many pages do you think are left? I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot.
Even if the president signs the bill, legal analysts say the bill limits the details from the investigation that can and cannot be released. It allows the attorney general to redact any information that could jeopardize a federal investigation. However, the Department of Justice cannot block records based on any political reasoning. Well, New Orleans is reportedly set to be the next target for the Trump administration's expanded immigration enforcement. It could start as soon as next month. The development comes amid large-scale immigration arrests in North Carolina. That's where protests spread across the state late last night against the presence of Border Patrol agents in Charlotte and Raleigh. More than 200 people have been arrested since the crackdown began this weekend.
Operations are based on where we have a criminal element to our illegal alien population that's in the country and what we can do to get them off of our streets and protect our children and people.
We are actually going to be making an announcement, I think, very soon, within the next week or so, about our work on holding ICE and DHS accountable.
In some Raleigh suburbs, businesses and restaurant owners have been closing up shop. In one suburb where nearly 20% of the population was born outside the U.S., residents say they're staying home out of fear. Federal agents have given no information about the increased activity. In New York, a federal judge dismissing the Trump administration's challenge to a state law blocking immigration arrests of people traveling to and from state courthouses. The ruling rejects a White House claim that the restrictions create unconstitutional obstacles to immigration enforcement and are preempted by federal law. New York passed the Protect Our Courts Act back in 2020 after ICE ramped up courthouse arrests during President Trump's first term.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says U.S. military strikes against drug cartels inside Mexico are not going to happen. President Sheinbaum's comments come a day after President Trump said he's willing to do whatever it takes to stop drugs from entering the United States. President Sheinbaum says she's told President Trump repeatedly she is willing to share information and collaborate to fight the flow of drugs. She adds Mexico has to operate in its own territory and will not accept any intervention by a foreign government. One of the former prison correctional officers at FCI Dublin, who is charged with a sex crime, will ask a federal judge to spare him from prison. Lawrence Gacaud pleaded guilty to one count of abusive sexual contact and admitted to kissing and writing letters to an incarcerated woman in 2022. Prosecutors say that while he should be held accountable, Gacaud's actions were not as egregious as most of the other correctional officers charged at FCI Dublin. Community members gathered outside the Dublin Civic Center last night, urging the council to reject a potential immigration detention center at the former FCI Dublin federal facility. The agency recently reopened and began sending detainees to another facility in Bakersfield back in August. Advocates in Dublin say they want to be proactive and say that a detention facility is not welcome in Dublin.
So we haven't seen these massive rates. We've been seeing people taken when they go to their ICE check-ins at immigration court, but we haven't had the massive raids because they don't have a facility close by to be able to put a lot of people. And we know if they open one, that they will fill it.
Congressman Mark DeSaulnier told KTVU back in June there are no plans to turn the prison into an immigrant detention center. Still, protesters want the city to pass a resolution against using it as an immigrant detention facility.
Loved ones of the late football coach John Beam gathered at an Oakland courtroom to watch the first court appearance of the man accused of killing the athletic director and former football coach. Cedric Irving Jr. did not enter a plea and was denied bail. He's accused of shooting and killing Beam at Laney College last Thursday morning. Instead of a regular jumpsuit, Irving wore a vest that's used as a precaution for inmates at risk of harming themselves. Records show Irving is being held in the behavioral health unit of Santa Rita Jail.
They don't know what the mental health state of the defendant is. That will come out during litigation. and be used either in a trial or for mitigation should he plead. This case will move at glacial speed. It's not going to go quickly.
The suspect's mental health may play a role in his defense. Sources tell KTVU the suspect believed Beam had used witchcraft on him. The district attorney would not comment on Irving's mental health. He's due back in court December 16th. Retired NFL star Marshawn Lynch attended the court hearing in support for Beam and his family.
8:16, another check on traffic at this hour, starting in the North Bay, where we mentioned that crash earlier this morning on a southbound 101, just north of San Pedro Road. This is in the clearing stages. This was involving a motorcycle and a Cybertruck. Luckily, the emergency crews are starting to clear the scene there. No reports of any serious injuries just yet. But here's a live look at the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge toll plaza. It's going to be slow going getting into Marin County from this point. You can see the sun streaming into that camera lens, producing that glare there. San Mateo Bridge is sluggish. There is a report of a crash on just east of the toll plaza, so possibly blocking one of the lanes. It looks like, latest notes, that crash has been moved over to the right-hand shoulder, but people are still, as you can see, that bus there, slowly trying to get around it. Expect some traffic back up there. Bay Bridge Toll Plaza also slow this morning. We haven't really seen this change much in the last 45 minutes since I've been here, so we're looking at a 20-minute delay at least to get onto the span. 8:17, here's Steve Paulson.
Thank you, Allie. With some sun breaks in there, as you've shown on the traffic pictures. It's a mix of low clouds and already some breaks. It won't be very warm, though, today. Temperatures upper 50s to low 60s. The city's been stuck at 54, and there's more low clouds closer to the coast than there is inland, but there's some noticeable breaks inland. But partly cloudy to mostly cloudy here in the morning, then a mix of sun and low clouds. It'll be a cool afternoon. Days are so short now, as you know, and angle of the sun is getting really, really low. Lots of gray there. Increasing clouds will be with us throughout the day, but the main front is still a ways away. It won't arrive until late tonight into tomorrow. And the upper low is not here until tomorrow afternoon or evening, but that will give us another round of rain on Thursday. Be a cold system, too. And then once that moves out, I think we get a break for about a week. But for today, even cool for cats. Temperatures will only be in the upper 50s or low 60s, probably at best. Mix of sun and low clouds. And temperatures near average to even below for most today, you guys.
All right, Steve, thank you. Investors jittery as NVIDIA reports earnings. Can the Santa Clara-based chipmaker keep the AI dream alive?
And we are so excited for next year's Fox Local Summer Zip Trip season. We're starting now, asking you to weigh in on which city should make our final list. You've been amazing sending us notes on social media, telling us in person at the grocery store, and now we are officially turning to you for a pitch on your hometown. Scan the QR code, send in photos and a video. Tell us why your city should be in next year's Fox Local Zip Trip lineup.
San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie kicked off the holiday season by announcing a major increase in safety patrols at Union Square. The mayor was joined by San Francisco Police Department officers and a coalition of community leaders to emphasize the city's commitment to a safe holiday experience there. SFPD confirmed it will boost the number of officers actively patrolling the area throughout the holiday shopping season.
We are increasing staffing at Union Square, doubling the number of officers. Let me repeat, doubling the number of officers deployed here for the holiday season. Thank you to all our SFPD members who will be working hard these next few weeks.
In addition to more officers, safety ambassadors will be walking around Union Square in the coming weeks to help visitors and guests as well. It is 8:23. Rebounding this morning are tech stocks going forward. A lot hinges, though, on word from the Bay Area's tech company, big tech company, NVIDIA.
Pam Cook is listening closely as this all unfolds. She's upstairs with Dollars and Cents.
Yes, always listening. We're always talking about NVIDIA. The CEO talking right now at the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum seems to be pretty confident about AI and NVIDIA. Ahead of that report, the NASDAQ shot up close to 300 points this morning. NASDAQ has seen its worst month, though, since March as investors question the valuation of some of those big stocks in general and the AI stocks specifically. Today, there's a bit of a bounce back as investors anticipate a good earnings report after the closing bell from NVIDIA. More on that in just a moment. First, as we get a live look at the numbers, the Dow has fluctuated a little bit, now down about 100 points. In the last hour, it was down just slightly. But the S&P 500 is managing to hang on to 1/3% gain, and the NASDAQ again. The big winner, it has cut that initial gain in half, but still up about 150 points. Santa Clara-based NVIDIA does report earnings today after the closing bell. There's a lot of talk on Wall Street about a possible AI bubble that's about to burst. However, the expectation is that NVIDIA's report will come in just as analysts expect, which will likely restore some confidence in the sector. Financial analysts say the concerns about AI and NVIDIA come from the anxiety about the current state of the economy. The September jobs report will be released tomorrow. We haven't seen that in a while. It was delayed because of the government shutdown.
For worse, over the next 3 weeks is going to clarify exactly how they come down, and then the stock market will kind of know what to do with itself.
Yeah, the stock market definitely has been looking for technology as a direction. NVIDIA's earnings report, again, will be released after the markets close today, and that will likely have a big impact on the market direction tomorrow. Target is partnering with OpenAI to launch a new shopping app with ChatGPT. The new feature is supposed to improve customers' orders for quick pickup or drive up. It will also let customers have a conversation and curated shopping experience. Shoppers can ask the app to plan events like a holiday movie night, and then they'll receive instant personalized recommendations. TikTok now letting users manage how much AI-generated content appears in their feed. The new AI slider will be located under Manage Topics. The app will also start adding invisible watermarks to AI content. TikTok says both changes are rolling out over the next couple of weeks. However, it only works if TikTok knows which content is AI. The AI content control is only a trial at this point. It may or may not become a permanent feature. I'm Pam Cook. Let's look at your dollars and cents.
All right, Pam, thank you so much. 8:26 now. The field of candidates running to become the next governor of California getting more crowded now. The latest to enter the race, a billionaire with big ambitions.
The Oakland Unified School District is warning it needs to take action to avoid a state takeover. What's happening today that could lead to some major cuts? The Epstein files are one step closer to being released as part of a rare bipartisan development in Congress. We're tracking the latest from Washington and why some are concerned key information won't be made public. Then California parents in particular watching a discussion today that could lead to higher tuition for future UC students. The factors that are driving the push for a tuition hike and how soon it would go into effect.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Gassia Michaelia.
I'm Andre Sr. It's Wednesday, November 19th, and many people waking up, walking outdoors, and feeling the cold. Steve Paulson will talk about the shiver running down our spines this morning.
A little chill behind you guys, the wind blowing out there, even with the sunshine. It will not be very warm today. We get a mix-up. There's a lot of low clouds near the coast. Then we get breaks, and then there's more low clouds north and also towards the valley and even up towards the Sierra and the Mother Lode there. But temperatures, we had Livermore dropped to 40 this morning, coolest of the season. I know Cordelia was at 43, some of the higher elevations. Mount St. Helena, 39. Mount Diablo, 40. So some cool air in place, 40s, 50s. Now, some areas get the sun. Others, though, will be dealing with the low clouds. It'll be a mix of the two, but cool today. Next rain is tomorrow. Cold low dropping in. That'll be with us for rain, off and on rain, and a cold rain on Thursday. Today, if you're near the coast, probably sold out. But if you're inland, you'll get some sun. Just won't be very warm. Cold front arrives tomorrow morning. The low drops in tomorrow afternoon, evening, and then it'll be in Southern California by the time we get to Friday for a cold, breezy day on Friday. But tomorrow, one more in the pipeline here before a little bit of a pattern change to go drier. There will be some snow in the mountains. They had some colder temps. That helps making snow. They get about 1 to 4, I think, at lake level for tomorrow, and then that should give them a break then for about 7 to 10 days, kind of the way it looks. Even cool for cats. Big morning fog bank, mix of sun and low clouds, upper 50s for many, or only low 60s. All right, Allie's here, 8:30. I know Sal passed the baton, and she's kind of busy. Where do you want to start?
We're going to start in the South Bay this time around, and the good news is there's no crashes or major incidents there, but the bad news is there's still a lot of traffic, as you can see from this map. Halfway through the 8 o'clock hour, and there's a lot of folks out on the road still. There is a new report of a crash westbound 80 just west of Treasure Island. This is actually a stalled vehicle traffic hazard, but it is trying to be pushed off to the side of the road at the Fremont exit. So that is leading to an even bigger backup at the toll plaza, which we'll show in just a minute. 280 in San Jose, this commute has lightened up a little bit, at least in the northbound direction around that curve downtown. That traffic moving nicely there. Here at the Bay Bridge toll plaza, you can see things are very slow, and they're not expected to improve again because there is now that stalled vehicle fender bender westbound 80 just west of Treasure Island. 8:31, let's go back to the desk.
Allie, thank you. This morning, UC Regents will vote on raising tuition for thousands of future UC students.
KTVU's Amanda Quintana is at UC Berkeley with the details of this story. Amanda.
Yes, the Regents are set to vote later today to increase tuition for the class of 2027-28. So that would be all of the classes at all 9 of the UC schools. Now, UC leaders say that this increase is needed to offset recent cuts by the Trump administration, a reduction in state funding, growing enrollment, and growing inflation. But students are against this. They say the proposed tuition hike would have a devastating impact on students from low-income families. They plan to protest outside of the Regent meeting at UCLA today. When a student starts at UC, their tuition is locked in for 6 years. Each year, tuition is allowed to go up by 5% based on inflation. But in this plan being voted on today, if inflation goes up more than that, any amount over 5% can then be banked for future years. Today's vote would also change the amount of money that's put toward financial aid. This increase being voted on would only affect the incoming class of 2027-28. So students who already attend a UC school will not see increases to their current fees. Now, for the class of 25-26, their base tuition rate is set at nearly $15,000, and it's $50,000 if they are not California residents. We will continue to break down some of the numbers for you and bring you the latest from UCLA when that vote happens sometime this afternoon. Live in Berkeley, Amanda Quintana, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Amanda, thank you. Now we want to hear from you. This morning we're asking, is college worth it? And here are your options. Yes, it's an investment, or no, it's too expensive. 62% of you say yes, it's an investment. 38% of you say no, it's too expensive. Scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen or go to ktvu.com/vote. Let us know what you think. Well, happening today, leaders of the Oakland Unified School District are meeting to continue discussions about the $100 million it needs to cut from next year's budget. The board will evaluate at least 2 budget options today. Then they plan to vote on a plan during the December 10th board meeting. Teachers say even right now, they're already on shoestring budgets. The superintendent says OUSD is committed to prioritizing students, but there is no way to save their financial autonomy from state intervention.
New this morning, billionaire businessman Tom Steyer is announcing his run for California governor.
The richest people in America think that they earned everything themselves. That's so ridiculous.
In his campaign launch video, Steyer focused on the high cost of living in our state. He also touted his backing of various ballot propositions over the past 15 years, including one to raise taxes on corporations to increase funding for schools. Steyer also recently spent millions backing Prop 50 and ran a need to impeach ad campaign during the first Trump administration. He also ran for president in 2020. Steyer enters a crowded field as several Republicans and Democrats have announced they are running. This morning, we're waiting on the president's signature on a bill to force the Justice Department to release the files it has on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Congress moving with remarkable speed here. The Senate approved that bill hours after the House's near unanimous consent. The lone no vote was Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana, who said he opposes the bill because it would release information about innocent people mentioned in the investigation. Political analysts say the bipartisan support in Congress for releasing the files was a rare display of unity on Capitol Hill. Among those leading the effort is South Bay Congressman Ro Khanna.
It sends a message that Americans are finally sick and tired of a Epstein class of rich and powerful men who thought they could get away with anything.
There's 65,000 pages that have been released. How many pages you think are left? I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot.
President Trump is expected to sign the bill. The president recently reversed his stance and indicated over the weekend he supported the bill, which would direct the Justice Department to release files related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation.
The problem here for the president was that I think he felt like any mention of his name in the Epstein files was just going to continue to bog down his presidency. And of course, that was the strategy. That is the strategy of Democrats, is to find out what's in there, and if there's a smoking gun, to expose it.
The concern for the White House, though, is that no matter what happens from here, no matter what is released, there is not going to be enough to satisfy the people that want that smoking gun, and they are concerned that this is not going to go away, even with the bill signing, even with more getting released.
Well, even if the president signs the bill, legal analysts say there are limits on what he can and cannot be released here from this. It allows the Attorney General to redact any information that could jeopardize a federal investigation. The Department of Justice cannot, however, block records based on any political reasoning. Once the bill is signed, the Justice Department has 90 days to make any redactions and release those documents.
A House committee is meeting this morning to discuss rules that would limit stock trading for members of Congress. The current rules allow trades as long as they follow insider trading laws and are disclosed within 30 days. A bipartisan group of lawmakers now has a proposal that would ban members of Congress and their close family members from holding individual stocks while serving in Congress.
Public service is supposed to be a sacrifice. You're supposed to give things up as part of that public service. I am certain that we are going to get a bill to the floor that's going to reflect everybody's work and that will take this first step to restore trust in Congress.
Critics point out lawmakers are privy to inside information that can impact stocks and say members of Congress should only be able to invest in broader index funds, not individual stocks.
Well, pretty good fog bank out there. This does not look like something we see usually in mid-November, more like June or July. It favors the coast, and then there's noticeable breaks inland, although low clouds pick up again north and up over the Sierra. But, I mean, that's sold out on most of the coast there. Although inland, a little bit of fog, but definitely visibility is okay for us unless you're out towards the valley. Look at Stockton, half-mile visibility. Everywhere else, it's a low cloud deck, and it's anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 miles. So, thankfully, we don't have that Tule fog, but in the valley, they're dealing with it. Plenty of low clouds. They probably won't really clear much on the coast. There's a system on the way which will continue to enhance it. 40s, 50s, mainly low 50s now on some of these temps. 20s up in the mountains, Truckee, South Lake Tahoe. Reno's now at 30 degrees. They will get a little bit of snow up there, not a lot, but a little bit. They need 1 to 2 feet is what they need. They won't get that. They'll get about 1 to 4 inches at lake level tomorrow. The low we had a couple days ago is now pushing into Arizona. The front is still pretty far away. It'll be here tomorrow morning, and then the upper low will be over us tomorrow evening. It's going to take a while to get here, but it will produce some rain, a cold rain tomorrow. I think about a tenth, maybe a half to 2/3 of an inch should cover it, Bay Area wise. Some of the higher peaks could get a little bit more. Even cool for cats though today. Big morning fog bank favoring the coast, mix of sun and low clouds, but not very warm. Upper 50s to low 60s. We'll get rain tomorrow, and then kind of a windy, cold day as the low ends up in Southern California Friday. Does look better on the weekend, but probably have to deal with a lot of fog, you guys.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. 8:39, federal agents eyeing a new state for their expanded enforcement. We'll talk with an immigration attorney about what's unfolding in North Carolina, where upped immigration arrests have been taking place.
And KTVU's annual One Warm Coat Drive is well underway. You can help make sure people in need stay warm this winter. If you're in the position to donate a new or gently worn coat, please scan the QR code on your screen. You can also head to KTVU.com as we have a long list of participating drop-off locations for you. Our One Warm Coat Drive runs until December 14th. Some of the stories we're following here at 8:42. A push to expand the Oakland Police Department's surveillance camera system failed overnight. The City Council's Public Safety Committee voted 2-2 to reject a police request to add dozens of additional cameras. Police say the cameras record license plates and help solve crimes. There are currently about 300 in Oakland. Across the bay in San Francisco, a real estate firm wants to temporarily close the Safeway between Fulton and Cabrillo Streets near Ocean Beach to redevelop the area. The project would bring a total of 526 new rental homes on the same site of the grocery store. The supermarket would close temporarily, then later reopen to become an anchor to the site. We'll note that Safeway is the only full-service grocery store in the neighborhood. Today, all eyes are on Santa Clara-based NVIDIA, one of the top chip makers fueling the artificial intelligence boom, as it's expected to release its earnings today. Some Some investors, though, worry that we're in an AI bubble and will be looking at NVIDIA's earnings report for any sign that bubble is about to burst. Stock trading up a few points right now. NVIDIA is set to release its earnings report at 1 o'clock our time, right after the market closes.
Federal immigration raids could start hitting New Orleans as soon as December 1st, but right now ICE is focused on North Carolina. Joining us now is Tori Shepard, an attorney with the Carolina Migrant Network, to explain what's happening on the ground and how communities are protecting families. Tori, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
So, Tori, tell us, what you're hearing from people there in that area, because one of the things that stunned me here is so many restaurants and businesses closed down in anticipation of these raids or after these raids happen. Tell us what you're hearing from folks there.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult 5 days here for the greater Charlotte population, and then, of course, more specifically for our immigrant population. This is a community that's been under attack from agents of terror for the last 5 days, committing unchecked acts of violence and aggression and property destruction against U.S. citizens and non-citizens alike. So the atmosphere in Charlotte right now is one of great fear and terror, as was intended by this assault. And as you've said, as a result, in many of our heavily immigrant populated corridors and areas, has resulted in, areas that used to be very vibrant, active, are now dead, that businesses are closed. People are afraid to go shopping, to go to any kind of store, to go to school, to go to work. So it's people have had to hide away from the unchecked violence here.
I should say the Secretary of Homeland Security said that these were carried out based on advanced investigation and casework. Do you indeed feel that ICE have been targeting people with criminal backgrounds and indeed violent offenders here? What are you hearing from folks there?
Very plainly, no. As with all of the rhetoric espoused by this administration and by DHS in particular, that kind of racist fear-mongering is just not borne out by the numbers and by the people that we're talking to who are taken into custody. I will also just say initially that the criminal or non-criminal distinction that people are trying to draw here is in itself a false flag of sorts. That the criminal legal system in this country, as a modern day evolution of Jim Crow and slavery, is far too racist and far too unequally enforced to provide any kind of accurate metric for who is committing harm in this country. But even if we set that aside, we are seeing, and this is documented by witnesses to these patrols, that people, that is just indiscriminate racial profiling, that they are stalking people through neighborhoods, randomly pulling over at shopping centers and restaurants, not even asking for identification, not trying to determine identities of people that they are kidnapping. So that's certainly not the reality on the ground.
As part of the Carolina Migrant Network, what is your role in helping this community through this situation here?
So our organization, Carolina Migrant Network, we provide legal services to people who are in ICE detention and in removal proceedings. We also have an organizing team that has for years been in charge of managing the Community Defense Hotline, which enables people to call in and report sightings of ICE or CBP, any kind of DHS officials. We have a team of trained verifiers who can then go out to the sites to try to confirm what's going on there, to witness and document. And then we share that information with the greater community so that they can use that to try to decide what kind of precautions they have to take and to try to keep themselves safe. So right now we're in a rapid response phase, and we're just trying to get as much information out as possible, and also trying to connect with attorneys across the state to hopefully be able to get people connected to pro bono lawyers.
200 people have been detained by ICE in Charlotte, and then they moved over to Raleigh. We'll see what the numbers are there. Tori Shepard with the Carolina Migrant Network, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
8:48, 1 week after a shooting on the campus of Oakland's Skyline High School, some students walked out of class district-wide to send a message about safety. More than 100 students from a number of Oakland schools gathered outside Skyline after a student was injured there by gunfire. Students say they're frustrated with Skyline High's handling of the incident and what they say is a lack of mental health resources on campus.
Organize a walkout for the school to start preaching for extra mental health services instead of security, to ask for education on gun violence instead of just pushing it under the rug.
2 teens were arrested in connection to the shooting at Skyline. Police say they also seized 2 ghost guns tied to the incident.
The Santa Clara County District Attorney says he is launching an investigation into how money from the recently passed Measure A will be spent. The county executive says he recommended all funds from the sales tax will go to hospitals and health care and not a broader list of items that included public safety. The Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors pushed for this measure to offset funding losses of $1 billion due to the passage of the Republican spending bill.
What we're doing is looking into Measure A and whether the law was followed in terms of how it's presented and how the money is going to be spent.
I, for one, am not willing to pit public safety against health care.
County officials estimate Measure A will generate about $330 million annually. The DA says he believes this is a civil investigation and isn't looking to put anyone in jail unless there's criminal evidence of wrongdoing.
8:49 is the time, and checking traffic just before the 9 o'clock hour. The issue that we mentioned on the Bay Bridge just past Treasure Island now has been cleared, but there's still a lingering backup there. You can see from the map here. Also a crash 880 in Oakland at northbound at 23rd Avenue. We'll show a live picture of 880 in just a second. First, live picture of the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Things improving slightly, traffic moving a little bit faster than it was just about an hour ago. Same story for the San Mateo Bridge as you make your way over to the peninsula at Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. The commute here starting to loosen up just a little bit after it was pretty backed up here for the last hour and a half. Now that that crash is cleared on the bridge, things should clear up just a little bit. Let's show you that live picture. We promised 880 in Oakland past the Coliseum. Things are okay in that northbound direction until you reach 23rd Avenue where there's a crash happening there. No injuries reported, so it should be cleared fairly soon. 850. Here's Steve Paulson. A lot of sunshine in these traffic cameras, but that's not going to last.
Not tomorrow. It won't be. It'll be raining here, but we get a mix of either sunshine, if you're inland, a lot of fog on the coast. I had to dust off a June visible satellite. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, there, look at that. A lot of low clouds down towards San Jose. Noticeable breaks, then back into the low clouds. You get up towards Napa County, Solano. Then you get some clearing. Then you get more fog out to the valley, and no doubt on the western slope of the Sierra. But for some, it's already sunny. Some low clouds kind of hanging around, 40s, 50s on the temps. Livermore made it down to 40 this morning, the coolest low so far this young season. Low clouds, sun, cool. Tomorrow will be our next rain. It'll be a cold one. It'll be a quick mover, though. Cold low drops in, upper 50s for highs tomorrow. Light to moderate rain, 1/10 of an inch to 6/10 I think will cover the spread here. There, higher elevations, maybe Russian River get the most there. That's our system there. The low won't be here until tomorrow evening, is the way it looks. So, I mean, we have to deal with the front, increasing clouds. That'll be later tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. Then the low comes right over the Bay Area, which could generate some more rain. But it's a quick mover. It'll be in Southern California by Friday. So today, even cool for cats. With the sun out, it's not going to be very warm. We get a mix of low clouds and sun, and upper 50s or low 60s on the temps, and plan on rain arriving tomorrow.
Steve, thank you. The U.S. men's national soccer team is ending 2025 on a high note as it heads into next year and the World Cup.
Down the line, kept in by Tolkien. Tolkien rolls it forward for Tillman. Tillman into the middle. It's Luna! It's 4!
South Bay native Diego Luna scored America's 4th goal as the U.S. beat Uruguay 5-1 last night in an exhibition match in Florida. Though some of America's top players were missing, it did not affect the offense. This was the first time the U.S. scored at least 5 goals against a country from South America or a country that had won the World Cup. The U.S. will likely play 4 exhibitions next year before the World Cup begins next summer.
Well, the Oakland High girls varsity basketball team is getting a chance to show off their talents on a national stage. The Wildcats won the state championship last year and have now earned an invitation to a prestigious Nike tournament in Phoenix. The head coach, Nita Simpson, says basketball is a tool for empowerment and provides a chance for players to be seen by college and WNBA scouts, but the team needs financial support to make this trip.
One of the best things about Oakland is our resilience. You know, that's what these girls have. They learn so many life lessons, how to manage their emotions, you know, how to be a leader, how to be a good teammate to someone, you know, how to look outside of themselves and, you know, really come together as a unit.
I really love the sport a lot, and I want to go somewhere with the sport. Hopefully I do.
The two-time defending state champs are now raising funds to cover the cost of that trip. At 8:54, 9 years after its initial release, the sequel, Zootopia 2, hits theaters next week. When you join us on the 9, Patrick Warburton joins us live in studio to discuss his new character, Mayor Winddancer. California Attorney General Rob Bonta's re-election campaign has reportedly spent nearly $500,000 in campaign funds on legal services and fees related to a federal bribery investigation. Campaign organizers confirmed that money was used to hire attorneys, but said Bonta is not the target of the investigation. That same investigation has already resulted in the indictment of former Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao and the Duong family, who were both donors to Bonta.
In this case, the only connection that I can see right now between the AG's election and the legal investigation and proceedings would be whether or not the investigation initially began with questions about the Dong's donations to the AG account.
Well, the payment is reportedly the most amount of money spent on legal help by any candidate running for statewide office in California. Federal agents have reportedly intercepted communications between staffers at the governor's office. The Chronicle reports the FBI notified some current and former members of the Newsom administration about the intercept as part of its investigation of the governor's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson. The governor's office told the paper these notices are required by law. Williamson was recently arrested on federal conspiracy and fraud charges.
President Trump's approval rating has hit a new low, even among Republicans. A new Reuters Ipsos poll shows he has an overall approval rating of 38%, down 2% from earlier in the month. President Trump's support among Republicans dropped by 5%. Some people polled said the president's back-and-forth stance on releasing the Epstein files changed their mind. When it comes to the economy, 26% of voters say President Trump is doing a good job at managing the cost of living.
Texas is promising to appeal a ruling by a federal court that blocks the state from using its newly redrawn congressional maps. That federal court, in a 2-to-1 ruling, sided with Texas opponents who argued the new districts harm the representation of Black and Latino residents. Texas's redistricting effort led to a nationwide redistricting fight, including the passage of Prop 50 here in California.
New this morning, a new study is pushing back on the long-held belief that California's coastline is rapidly eroding. The Scripps Institution of Oceanography has been tracking beach width with satellite technology. Researchers found the average beach width remains surprisingly stable across our state. While erosion continues to plague some parts of Southern California, other beaches such as Venice Beach and Ocean Beach here in San Francisco are actually gaining sand. The study notes that this resilience does not account for the threat of climate change and sea level rise. A quick pause and a live picture here as Mornings on 2 the 9 starts in just 60 seconds. Stay with us, looking live at the South Bay.
Oakland's license plate reader plan hits a wall. The arguments from both sides. Police say it helps them solve crimes. Critics say it threatens privacy.
Then a big money vote for the UC system today that could mean higher tuition for future in-state students. What's driving the plan and how soon it could go into effect.
Plus, the market has questions and NVIDIA may have the answer. How its earnings report coming out today could signal an AI boom.
Live from Chat London Square, this is Mornings on 2, the 9.
Today is Wednesday, November 19th. We're looking live at Levi's Stadium in the South Bay. Clear skies there and pretty much Bay Area wide this morning, but that is all going to be changing in the next 24 hours. Welcome to Mornings on 2. With Thanksgiving just a little more than a week away, you might have either started or maybe planning to start decorating for the holidays, but this year's trending aesthetic for the season is what's being called a Ralph Lauren Christmas. It's all about a mix of elegance and comfort with a touch of luxury. Think plaid blankets, warm candles, and that old school cabin feel. The trend is taking over TikTok and Instagram, racking up millions of views under the hashtag Ralph Lauren Christmas. Do you guys decorate for the holidays? Is this your aesthetic?
Not like this.
not like that.
Not with that expensive stuff, because you're going to just take it down after a few weeks.
Right, and they just store it all.
And that's the issue. Where do you store it for the rest of the year?
Well, obviously in your second house.
Right, exactly.
I mean, Allie, come on, you know that.
Yeah. We have some like homemade stuff. I'm guessing you do too. Like the homemade things our children made when they were in preschool. And, you know, the handprint is a turkey for Thanksgiving or whatever. We mostly put that stuff up around the house.
Yeah, so. I would say we're probably
not the Ralph Lauren.
No, it's not my vibe.
Not the YSL stuff.
No,
I don't even know if they do.
It looks kind of Martha Stewart.
Unless you could get it from the Buy Nothing group for free.
Oh, Buy Nothing or the thrift store. I'm trolling thrift stores.
We do live in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You might be able to find something really valuable. You never know. There you go. See, Allie's thinking. And Gossie's hopping on that whole train. All right. You might have noticed Sal isn't here right now in studio. He's actually here, but he's off-site for a preview of Cirque du Soleil's latest production, Echo. It's under the big top over in the parking lot right next to San Francisco's Oracle Park. I saw one of these shows a couple of years ago. It was awesome. Sal, what do you have for us in store this hour?
Well, we have a VIP tour of behind the scenes, really. I'm standing in wardrobe here, and this is where they sew costumes, they repair things, they have makeup areas, and you see some of the masks that some of the performers wear. Coming up a little later on this hour of Mornings on 2 the 9, we're going to see some of these performances, but it is kind of cool to be behind the scenes here just because the show's about to open tomorrow, and there's a lot to be done. So you can see some people already already working on things, and it's quite impressive to come. It feels like a little campus is what it feels like to be here at Cirque du Soleil. So again, we're going to see performers, but you see it down here by Oracle Park in the parking lot. We're going to tell you what it's all about and why it's different. If you've never been, it's a little different from, you think circus. This is not what you're thinking, I think. We're going to talk about that coming up. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
Now, there's a lot of art involved. All right, wonderful, Sal. We'll see you throughout the hour. Let's swing over to our weather center, check in with our Steve Paulson, a little lighter and brighter behind us along the Oakland estuary.
A little bit of sun out there, a lot of low clouds, but some sun. We'll have two systems here on this satellite image. The one we had the other day is now down, taking the turn from Southern California into Arizona and also into Southern Nevada, Las Vegas, and the Four Corners here. It'll get a kicker, and that's that kicker dropping down right up there. You can see the low coming into the Gulf of Alaska. If you can't see it, I'll point it out. It'll be right there in just a second, right there. There you are. Now, it's not going to be here. Now, the front will get here tomorrow morning, but the low is going to do this, do this, do this, and then end up right here taking the same highway, but not until Thursday night. And by Friday, it'll be in Southern California. Inland, some sun, yes, unless you're north. Solano County, Napa County, looks like they're favoring more low clouds. Some breaks in there, but a mix of low clouds and sun from Marin County up to Sonoma County. And on the coast, there's a lot of low clouds. There's only a few breaks, but that's a big fog bank. Usually don't see that in mid-November, but we've had a lot of rain this month. Mostly cloudy, partly cloudy in the morning here, sun and clouds, a cool